If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Hey, hey, hey! How you all doing? So glad you're joining me today. I am the host, Christine McIver, and tonight we're talking about, is the universe really listening? How many of you have heard that saying that, the universe is listening, watch what you're saying? Well, tonight we're actually going to uncover if the universe is really listening. So before we dive into the show, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I was at an event today, a networking event. I don't know how many of my listeners go to networking events themselves. And I found myself kind of like, okay, how do I, really tell people what it is that I do? And it's something that if you are an entrepreneur and you are continuously unfolding into what it is you enjoy doing and you continue to add things, which I've talked about this lots of times, you continue to add things to your portfolio of what you enjoy doing and what lights you up and what generates money, what generates business in your business. Sometimes then having that conversation or letting people know what it is that you do, that's going to continue to evolve too. So it was very cool today because I just allowed whatever words that wanted to come out. And what actually came out today was, I assist people in bringing their voice to the world. And then when I said that, then the next question was, how do you do that? And I said, well, I do that through personal coaching, professional coaching, business coaching, as well. I have an online radio platform. So it was very cool to actually look at myself from those words that came out. And yes, and oh, by the way, I own a radio station. Exactly, Carol. So it's very cool to continuously look at what it is that we do and how we're showing up and how we're enjoying showing up in the world and what it is that we would like to contribute to the world. So yes, I assist people in bringing their voice to the world. That can be through maybe abusive relationships. Maybe that can be through stepping into a new job. Maybe that would be through working one-on-one with a new partner in your life. Maybe that's through parenting. Or perhaps that's through your own business, really bringing your voice to your business, having your voice shine through your website, shine through your social media, and shine through all of the products and services that you love to create in the world. And another big piece that really marries with that, of course, is having your own radio show. That it lights me up to invite people into stepping into more of them and to bring their voice, what they know, to the world. Because the one thing, and you'll have heard me say this if you've listened to any of my body of work, one thing that I know is that there's 7.6 billion people in the world, and each and every one of us has a message to bring. And it may seem similar than the next person, but I can tell you absolutely the way that you deliver the message, someone is waiting to hear it. So if any of that intrigues you, if you'd like to talk to me, I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me at inspiredchoices.ca. My email is Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. So I do have a lot of different programs, bringing your voice to the world through your body of work, through what you desire to have in your life. Those are the greatest things that I love to do. So I do want to share with you later on during this show some really exciting new things that I'm creating and some pretty amazing, a pretty amazing package that will maybe blow your mind. So tonight we are talking about, is the universe really listening? Okay, so what is this universe thing and what is this asking all about? Right? We've heard ask and you shall receive, but is that really, really true? Do you ever doubt that the universe is listening? I know I have. Why would the universe listen to me? Has that thought ever gone through your mind? How many times have you thought these thoughts, even just today? So during tonight, we're going to dive into this topic with possibilities that may just contribute to something showing up different. So, the universe. What the hell is the universe? Okay, so I'm gonna tell some truths here. You get ready, because I might be getting on my pulpit tonight. So I have a lot of different people in my life. Amazing, tremendous people. And everybody has their own belief systems, which I love, right? And I tell people that are close to me, I don't need for you to agree with me. I would love you to have an open mind as we can talk about things, but I don't need for you to agree with me. So when I actually say the universe, for everybody that's on the planet, they're going to have a different definition of what the universe is. I'm going to tell you what my definition is and what rings true for me. And let me know if that rings true for you, or if you have something different. I would love for you to type it in the chat room. If you're listening online and you'd love to come over and play, just go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, click on the chat room in the menu bar, and come on in and play with us. You're also welcome to call in and ask some questions. And if anyone is in the chat room or listening online and would love to join me, let me know. So, my definition of the universe. My definition of the universe is an infinite presence of energy that has created everything in and around every single planet, every single galaxy that we've discovered and have yet to discover. So this is an energy. Now, the one thing that we know is that every single solitary thing that we humans experience here on planet Earth, we know that everything is energy. Now, there may be still people out there that don't believe that, but what I would challenge you is I would challenge you to go and read some science. Read some of the latest science. One of the people that I love to listen to and read is Greg Braden. Greg Braden is a scientist. He has done put together some amazing bodies of work to really show how the universe, is energy, how everything here is energy. So, with that being told, why would the universe be listening to us? Why would the universe be responding to our asks? Well, growing up, I was raised Roman Catholic, and I was told that in order for, quote-unquote, God, because that's what I was raised with, in order for God to bless me, I had to be a good little girl. And while all my friends are listening and laughing, going, well, obviously she didn't get her asks, I was a good little girl, so there. And still, nice, thanks, Rhonda. Rhonda says no comment. Oh, and Carol's just laughing. You guys are so supportive. While I was a good little girl, I waited until I was older to become bad. While I was a good little girl, the things that I asked for didn't show up. The things that I desired didn't show up. So I began to judge myself that there was something wrong with me. And because these things didn't start to show up, I went into the conclusion that I wasn't good enough and that God wasn't really listening to me. And then when that continued to happen again and again, I created a pattern in my mind that good things were not going to happen to me. I created all of my asks within this huge bubble of doubt. Okay? Can anybody else relate to that? So, when you are raised in such a way that things don't show up and then you have doubt wrapped around everything, you truly begin to operate from this space of the universe is not listening to me. And all of this stuff that people are talking about, being a good little girl, being a good little boy, that it actually doesn't, that's not true. It really, really doesn't happen. So there are other people in the world that believe, and many, many of my listeners have shared this with me, that they believe that if you work hard and you're kind to people and you do the right thing, good things will come to you. Okay? Now, how many people do we know that they're doing that? They're doing the quote-unquote right thing according to this reality. They're being kind, and they're still standing there with their hands on their hips, tapping their toes, going, when is it my turn? When is it for me? Do any of you relate to that? I can tell you that I also went through that stage. I went through that stage of, okay, what do I have to do to have things happen? All right, I got it wrong. The church was wrong. My parents were wrong. It's not about being a good girl. It's something else. Okay, so maybe this is just the adult version of being a good girl, being kind to others and giving to others, and it'll finally come back to me, right? Exactly. In the chat room, they lied, right? And it did feel like they lied, or maybe they were lied to as well. So what we really, really want is for things to come with ease. But when we're buying all these, you should do this and you should do that, how is that possibly ease? Because you're already operating from a space of judgment. You're judging whether you are doing it the right way. You're judging whether it's going to happen. And you keep getting evidence over and over and over again. Is the universe really listening? So Rhonda says, the universe doesn't actually respond to our being nice or not. I still shake my head when I look at how we create. Exactly. Oh, wow. Okay, so we've got a comment in the chat room. I'm going to see if this person will come online and share with me their viewpoints on that comment. So hang tight. We'll see if they'll be brave enough to do so. But what I would really like for you to look at, oh, hold on. Sorry, somebody's calling when they shouldn't be calling. What I would really like for you to look at is whether or not you have any of these things happening for you. Do you have any places or spaces in your life where you have been trying, quote unquote, trying to bring things to actualization, and you honestly don't believe that the universe is listening to you? Have you ever started to doubt that you are part of the creation of what you desire and that the universe has got your back? All right? Do you ever go through your life thinking, it's happening for everybody else, it's not happening for me, and all of this crap is really crap, right? I certainly did, and I know many, many other people doubt it big time. But when we come back from break, we're going to jump into evidence of how the universe is actually listening to us, and how the universe is not judging you based on your religion or based on how you're asking or whether you are a good girl or a good boy or you're doing anything to be kind or not to be kind. All right? I'm going to really invite you in to keep an open mind to what it is that is actually possible, and to see how much more ease we can have playing with the tools that the universe shows us all the time. Okay, everyone, you are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this commercial break where we'll dive more into about, is the universe really listening? Stay tuned, everyone.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around. Tonight we are talking about, is the universe really listening? And before break, I was talking about the energy and how everything is energy and how we've been brought up to, quote unquote, do the right thing in order to receive from God, the universe, whatever it is whatever you've been indoctrinated into. So I would love to talk about a quote. First of all, I want to say this is fabulous. Somebody in the chat room said, I no longer doubt that the universe is listening. I do question its sense of humor and timing, which is so funny and so friggin' true, right? Sometimes it's like, really? Does the universe have a sense of humor in what is going on? Because this shit ain't funny. So I actually have Rhonda Burns on the line. Hi, Rhonda.
Hello.
You made a comment in the chat room and you said, Trump is actually a perfect example of creation. Please say more.
Right? Oh, my gosh. Oh, where do I begin? So for those of you who might have been under a rock at any point, Trump, Donald J. Trump, is the 45th president of the United States now. However, prior to that, he's one of the richest men in the world. He's an entrepreneur. He's a creator. He has, massive amounts of wealth. And as you're talking about the universe, what I now know and what I study is that everything in the everything in the universe is in fact energy, as you said. Mm-hmm. And so when we create, our job is to state a desire, ask, because everything is given. What we have to do is line up vibrationally with that ask and allow receptivity. So what Donald Trump does, he has zero resistance to what he wants. So if he says, I'm going to have $1 billion, he offers no resistance to having it, to how it shows up, to his behavior, where most of us who are empathetic and compassionate and sincere and right, all the things we are, we get in our heads and we get in the way is, oh, like you said, our conditioning. Is this the right choice? Is this the best choice? Will this hurt anybody's feelings? Trump is so in alignment with his desires. He offers, like I said, zero resistance. He's deliberately focused and he's aligned. So everything he asks for comes to him. He is the creator of his reality, regardless of what it looks like to us. Does that make sense?
Completely makes sense. It's like I can see him standing there going, with everybody giving him the reasons why he shouldn't or what's going to happen, and he's just going, nope. And he's straight in. It's like he's going down that tunnel, and he's like, I'm focused on this, and that's it.
Right. It's
a
clean stream. That's what it's a clean stream.
It's a clean stream. Wow. So how many people are not clean streaming? Like, seriously clean streaming?
ask yourself, if your desires are not showing up, like, where's your focus? Are you in alignment? And for me, when I get stuck, he's the example I look at, because even though I would never choose some of the things he chooses and the behaviors and the way of being, his creation is all about alignment, receptivity, focus, no resistance. I can be that in my own way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. We all can be. But here's some of the things that I've noticed, and I'm wondering how many other people are noticing this. So The Secret, the movie The Secret, that, when did it hit the ground? Was it in the early 2000s or the late?
Yeah, by Rhonda Byrne. Not my same last name, but close. Byrna Byrne. It came out in early 2000. Yeah.
Right. So it's like 20 years ago, and so it really did unlock a great deal for many, many, many of us. Right. I know it added to me and expanding my awareness of the possibilities in the universe. I know it expanded for a lot of people. But one of the biggest things that it didn't do is it really failed to teach us kind of the clean stream, what you've just tagged as the clean stream. So it taught us to ask. Well, yes, the how, but it taught us to ask, but it did not teach us the clarity of our conviction of how critical that piece is, right? And what we failed to do, most people fail to do, is they fail to look at what is actually running the show. So how many of us are actually asking? So I kind of liken it to, you've got one foot in one camp and one foot in another. So you're asking, oh yes, I believe, and we do affirmations, and I'm going to have this, and yes, I know it's available to me, and I know the universe is listening, and all the rest of it, right? But we've got our other foot in massive doubt. So we keep looking back at the evidence in our lives, right? And we go, it's never happened before, and what if that's going to happen again? And how much of this is just going to keep repeating? And it's never happened, and why should it happen to me? Like all of that we don't even realize is running in our brains.
Right.
Right? And when it doesn't come to fruition, which if you've got one foot in one camp and one foot in another, it's 99.9% positive it's not going to come to fruition. When it doesn't come to fruition, what does that do? It clarifies for you that you were right. That it doesn't actually come through.
Yeah, but you're saying it's not going to come through. It won't come true unless you clean up your stuff. But yeah, so I could argue that, but I'm not going to.
No. Come on. I don't have a problem with you arguing with me. I'm talking about if you don't have a clean stream, the probability of that actually coming through is slim to none, because you're sending out two different messages simultaneously. Okay? Your vibration is not in alignment with your ask. So if your vibration is not in alignment with your ask, so how the universe actually delivers, how the universe is listening, is we are in a state of vibration. We are in a state of knowing, okay? So we ask for something and we hold that space, right? We hold that space of knowing this is available to me, and I know it's already there, and I know as long as I stay in that clean stream, it is going to come. It may not show up the way I expect it to, desire it to. If there's a lot of expectations in there, it might push it away farther, take a lot longer for it to come in. Right? The timing, how it shows up, everything can be different. However, if you are in that clean stream of knowing, it will come to fruition.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it's energy. It's energy. And energy is, it's like if I'm holding a glass in my hand right now, on planet Earth, if I'm holding a glass in my hand, if I turn my hand upside down, what's going to happen? The glass is going to fall, right? Everything is responding to a creation. So if if your ask is a creation, if you are not in that clean stream, it's not going to be able to respond to you. It's magnetics. It's everything. It's science. Ask and receive is science. But there's a big space in the and, right? Ask and receive.
Mm-hmm.
That space in there is the clean stream that you have talked about.
Correct.
So many people are not willing to look at what actually comes up for them, what's in the background when you ask. So have you ever asked for something, Rhonda, and you were like, oh my God, I really want this. This is what I want. And you asked, and suddenly you've got like a knot in your stomach, or like a sinking disappointment energy, or anything that we would quote negative.
Sure. You asked if I had, and I'm like, yeah, I have. Did you?
you saying one word is hilarious to me, because you're not a one-word girl, so that's why I laughed. So when you asked when you asked that question and you got that uneasy negative feeling, did you then look at what that was? Did you question that? Did you kind of unpack that negative, or did you just try to ignore it?
Well, based on what I know now, that if that contracted space, which is what you're speaking to, if that shows up in my body or in my energy field, that's an indicator to me that that's either not actually my desire, or I have something in place that needs to be looked at.
Right.
So because there's resistance. So that's
right.
Usually one of two things, yes.
Right. And your show this morning on the radio was about resistance, right?
Are you resisting the path of least resistance? Yes. Coming undone with the Tenacious Minx on Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. Check it out. There you go.
That was completely unplanned, but that was good.
That was so good.
So good. Okay, so let's go back to this. So most people, when we first started this journey of ask and receive, okay, we ignored that feeling. We completely ignored those negative things. I know I did. I know I've worked with many, many clients. They would ignore it. And yet last year, around this time, I did a program called Up Your Ask. It was 100 days of asking, of really turning up the asking. A lot of people had some fabulous experiences with it, and a lot struggled. And what I've come to learn greatly is they didn't have the clean stream. They had a lot of resistance to it, or they had a lot of points of view and belief systems that were actually had a stronger vibration than their ask. So one of the greatest things that we have to do is we have to be willing to really pay attention to what is occurring in our bodies, in our minds, in our responses when we actually go into our asks. Because the universe is going to respond to that negative energy, that negative experience, greater than your ask. And that's the space of where we start to maybe possibly believe that the universe is not listening. Does that make sense?
It does. And so I'm just going to say this, if I may. So I think what helps me, because again, we get in our heads and we start head tripping, bottom line, no matter what you were emitting, right? We're the transmitter. Yes. We're emitting the vibration. We're emitting the frequency. No matter what it is, high or low, whatever it is, that is what the universe will match. And whatever you are open and receptive to is what's going to come back to you.
Right.
That's the reception.
And we have a question in the chat room. Yes, and we have a question in the chat room. Why does it pick negative to respond to? And I can tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this after the break. I'll tell you this after the break.
Okay, fine.
Okay, everybody, stick around. This is good. I'm just getting turned up. I love it. You're listening to Inspired Choices Radio with myself, Christine McIver, and my amazing friend, Rhonda Burns, who jumped in to work with me tonight. And we'll be back right after this short break. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, folks, thank you so much for sticking around tonight. We are talking about, is the universe really listening? Now, before we dive back in, I told you I had a very big special that I wanted to share with you. And one of the big specials is we did last week, I think it was last week, my gosh, the time is just flying in my world, we did a program with all of the hosts here on the network called 22nd Century Consciousness. These were live interviews that I did with all of the hosts, and Rhonda actually did with me. And we talked about, these were TV/video recordings, and we talked about what the future of consciousness is asking of us, what it looks like to each of us, and how we are creating that in the world. Every single one of the hosts also provided an amazing promotional package. Go over to the network, InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Check out 22nd Century Consciousness under the hosts, and you'll see all of the shows that were recorded. They were phenomenal. Well, my show that I absolutely loved, being in each and every one of those interviews and actually sharing my viewpoints and where I'm at and what I'm doing in the world during my interview with Rhonda. And the package that I actually offered, I'm going to tell you about it because it's a damn fine package, and you wouldn't want to choose it. Why? So here it is. So first of all, you heard the recording about the pleasure of business. That was a 24-week program that I did. This package, you're going to be able to get 3 of those calls, which include video, audio, and PDF, lots of information on every one of those calls. So 3 of the calls of your choice. So it's everything from business, from pricing to LinkedIn to Facebook, Instagram, website, you name it. You're going to be able to pick up 3 of those calls. That's a value of $450. You're going to be able to get my recording of the chapter, my audio recording of the chapter I wrote in the best-selling book, Relationships Done Easy, and that chapter was called Old Maid Be Damned. That's a value of $10. Then I have 2 Zoom series that are going to be starting. One starting in July, one is starting in August. The first one in July is called Embracing Change. This is going to be 4 calls. That's a value of $297. And I'm telling you, if anybody's had a lot of change in their life, it's me. So I absolutely know what it takes to roll with change. Sometimes kicking and screaming, but I do know. The second one that we're going to be starting in August is called Manipulation for Masterful Consciousness. For some of you, it might seem like an oxymoron to put those words together, but manipulation is actually something we are all doing all of the time. And when we acknowledge it and when we hone that capacity, we can change the consciousness that's available to us and what we can create in our worlds magnificently. That's a 3-call series that's going to be starting August the 23rd. That's valued at $397. This entire package is valued at $1,154, and you can get all of this for only $197. That's it. And that package, I'm telling you, when we get into it and we get going with all of the things, you are going to start unlocking places and spaces in your life and in your business and in your relationships with everything that I'm providing there. So do go email me or go over to the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com, 22nd Century Consciousness, and look for my recording. And you can get the link right there where you can purchase that amazing package. Or make it simple and email me, Christine, at InspiredChoices.ca. Okay, so back to tonight's show. One of the big things that we're talking about is we're talking about energy before we went for break. And one of the statements, one of the questions in the chat room was, why does the universe pick negative energy to respond to? So, Rhonda, you said it's not negative energy. You're right. But in order to explain it, we are calling it, quote, unquote, negative energy, right? And we are just to be able to differentiate between the two. So when I say negative, I am referring to something that you do not desire to have happen or to happen again that didn't give you the outcome you were looking for. Now, why does the universe respond to that? Well, I'll tell you, we often have more intensity in the things that we do not desire. We're pushing against what we do not desire stronger than we are with what we do desire. And that is why the universe is responding to the negative, because it's the amount of energy, the intensity of the energy that we have in it that is actually the quote-unquote attraction point. That is what it really, really is. So, Rhonda, what do you say to that?
Awesome. And yes, and I'll give a visual. I'm a visual learner, and so they come to me in visions, and it helps to share them. So yes, it's basically that the underlying vibration being offered, emitted to the universe, there's more attention or more, like you said, intensity. There's more composition on that quote-unquote negative, the opposite of what you really want. Mm-hmm. What I saw as a visual, if you're looking at a stream, let's say you've got 2 banks on the side and there's water flowing in between, so there's a clean stream, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine putting a diverter in the middle, or putting a diverter at about the 2/3 way through. And so 2/3 of the flow is now diverted off to one direction, and 1/3 of the flow is diverted in the other. And so if your 1/3 of that river, that flow, is what you want, but the 2/3 is what you don't want, guess what? The universe is going to match the strongest vibration, and right. That's the 2/3. Does that help?
Right. Totally. Thank you. That's awesome. So, yes. So that is why we are really talking about this clean stream. I'm really, really getting very specific about what it is that you desire and your vibration with it or not with it. So one of the big things that I know is very important is about your specific ask. So if you are asking for something, so it was interesting when I was actually producing one of the shows today, I heard something and it twigged something for me. So a lot of us, when we are asking, let's say, for wealth, I'd like to be wealthy, right? What I really picked up on very, very quickly is, okay, so there's the original definition of a word, and then there's definitions that we associate with words. So what I know is if you are asking for something and you're not clear about the ask, right? If you are using a general word like wealthy, you may mean in your mind, cash in my hand, baby. I want cash in my hand. I want so much cash in my hand that I need to get a bucket, right? That may be what wealthy means to you. But if you are not very clear and specific about that, wealthy could be having a lot of people around you that bring you joy. It could be wealthy can encompass a great many things. So what is really very, very important is for you to get very specific about your ask so that you are giving out the vibration of what it is that you desire. Now, I can hear you in my head, I think, Rhonda. When we are being specific, we want to be general in our specific, right? So we want to say something like, I would love to have a brand new, amazing car that is so reliable and makes me feel amazing when I drive it, that it gives me shivers down my spine. That's specific with a lot of possibilities for it to come in. Right, just like Carol said, loosely specific, exactly. You don't want to say, I want to have a convertible, black, with red interior, and it needs to have this many miles on it. And that type of specific narrows the possibility of when something can come in. Does that make sense, Rhonda?
Totally.
Okay. I feel like I'm like speaking to you solely.
I feel so important right now.
Excellent. Okay, cool. I love it. I'm making something feel important. So as we clarify, and as we tap into what is occurring with our asks, we can clean up our stream. So the short answer is the universe listening? It is listening. And if you look back, if you really look back at where you were in your vibration, what your belief system was when you were asking about things, I can guarantee you will find where you had a lot of doubt, a lot of negative going on in your world that didn't allow it to come through. So it's like that wish, like, oh, I wish this would happen. I wish. How many times have you ever been in that type of energy and what you were desiring did not come to fruition? It happens to so many of us. So what's so important is for us to work with the universe. How can you make it easy for the universe to, quote unquote, hear you, to respond to your asks? What would you say, Rhonda, is the top number one thing for you to have the universe listen to you and respond to you?
You just read my mind. I'm like, I need to tell her my one thing. If I were starting this all over again, and I do start over every single day, the absolute most imperative foundational thing I choose to know and believe is that when I ask, it is given every single time without fail. My only job is to get out of the way. So what does that mean?
Awesome.
I ask, I let it go. I have to trust that the universe is going to bring it. The rest of the work is on me. Clean stream. I'll stop there.
I feel like you just dropped the mic.
Podium, I have walked away. I've left the building.
Right. So what a really big thing, and Ron and I play with this all the time, is like we keep looking at, I mean, we're seekers, and we are continuously looking to, okay, what's going on here? What is this creating? What is this creating? What is this creating? And what's holding me back? And when we're willing to kind of dive into that without a major point of view, without a great deal of emotions, intertwined in it, we can start to see where we do need to clean up our stream, where we do need to stay focused in what is going to come. Now, here's the big thing, guys. The universe is always, 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 always listening. Like 1,000% is always listening, because the universe is energy. We know that every single solitary molecule in your body, in my body, is filled with energy. Your thoughts are energy. There is so much evidence of this in science today. This is not a point that I'm going to badger on for a long time. You can go look this up, okay? And if you'd like to have a conversation with me one-on-one about it, I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. But here's the fact, is everything in your body is energy, and your thoughts are constantly going. We are constantly in thought. 90% of the people that I know that are around me are thinking way too much. And oftentimes, what we're thinking is what we'd like to change, what we would like to have be different. So it honestly has us focusing, for the most part, on the things that we do not like. Because in order for us to surmise what it is we do want, it often comes out of the things that we don't want. Okay, well, I don't want that to happen again. I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to create that again. And that's okay. It's okay to have that contrast. That contrast actually shows us, oh, okay, I desire something different. But what most of us are doing is we keep focused on that negative, that thing that we do not want more than anything else, and that becomes what we're sending out to the universe. That's the energy, the focus of where we are coming from. And that's why we keep receiving what we do not want and then buying that the universe is not listening. But the universe is not listening to your wishes. The universe is not listening to your words. The universe is not listening even to the things that you write in your journal. The universe is responding. The universe is responding to your energy. And what are you giving your focus to? When you are actually looking at something and you know, I'm having it, it's already created. My job is to stay out of my own damn way and stay in alignment with my ask. Rhonda?
Yeah, two things. Thank you. Brilliant, beautiful. I love it. What I would say to anybody playing this game is start something that doesn't have any meaning to you. Start small. Play with things that are kind of throwaways, because you're going to offer no resistance, right? So so start small, be general. Now, here's the other piece of this. It's really important. When you say, I want more wealth, I want more abundance, I want more money, ask yourself, why do you want more money? Because in the why, you're going to find any of the resistance. Well, it's because I want to be able to pay my bills. Well, there might be an underlying point of view that I can't pay my bills, or right. So why is really important for us to identify why we're asking for the things we're asking, because that can show us where the underlying non-clean stream might be. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. 100%.
Cool.
And I'm going to say, anybody that's listening to this and would like to really learn about consciously creating what it is that you desire, there's another couple of big creations are brewing. So I'm actually in the midst of creating Up Your Ask 2.0. I don't have the exact start date, but it will likely be within just a couple of weeks. So Up Your Ask 2.0, and you know what? I've had a year to actually marinate with all of that creation. So there's going to be a lot more that's going to be coming to the table. So if you would like to up your ask and receive greater than ever before, connect with me. You can find Up Your Ask on Facebook. You can email me. You can find it on my website, inspiredchoices.ca. So I'll be talking about that more and more and be letting people know all the details on that. And Rhonda Burns and I are the founders of Bodacious Alchemy, and we're in the midst of creating something pretty damn juicy. So, Rhonda, what would you like to say about that tonight?
That if you are not connected with us on Facebook, on the Bodacious Alchemy page, get your sweet cheeks over there. If you are interested at all in creating a life with, as, for, on behalf of pleasure, and again, right, you want to know if the universe is responding to you, well, what if you focus more on pleasure? Come play with us, because we're going to be cooking with some serious gas starting in the fall. And you want to get in on the ground floor now. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. I've got to say, in addition to creating the Inspired Choices Network, what you and I are creating with Bodacious Alchemy is one of the greatest and most bountiful things that I've ever been in creation with. So it's going to be big.
And it grows, right? It grows us. It grows us, even as the facilitators. It grows us, and it connects us, and it's fun.
Be having fun, exactly. So my challenge to everyone who is listening, to Rhonda, to Carol, even to myself, are you willing to know that in every minute the universe is listening? Are you willing to know that? Like, know that 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
You don't have to. Please don't. The world would be too boring if you shut up. You don't have to go out and buy 100 new products and listen to 100 new shows and all of the rest of it to begin to change what is not working in your world. You stepping into knowing 100% that the universe is listening begins to change everything. Because when you acknowledge that, when you create something, quote unquote, positive or negative, you will begin to acknowledge, oh, I created that. The universe heard me based on my vibration. Then you can say, hey, do I want to create that same thing again? Or would I like to create something different, something that's maybe a little bit more pleasurable, juicy, fun, whatever the case may be? Your acknowledgement of both of these things, truthfully, begins you down that path of a clean stream. You, my friends, have the ability in your every single choice that you are making. Your choices create your entire life. Every single choice that you make is contributing to a creation. You don't need to be afraid of it, but start to open up your eyes and be present with your creations. Be present with what your vibration is creating so that you actually get to drive the bus even more. And in that, you make it easy for the universe to, quote unquote, hear you. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Rhonda, Carol, I'm grateful for the two of you. I'm the luckiest woman in the world to get to play with you both and to create in the world and to invite others to have more joy in their lives. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please come back next week. I'm not sure what it's going to be about, but I can tell you we'll be having lots of fun. Until then, remember, you can always make another choice. The power is in your choices. Where are you choosing and where are you vibrating? Take care, my friends. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.